Dealers are pushing hybrid SUVs as they have never pushed them before. Low tax, cheap running costs, green credentials. It sounds brilliant until you discover that some of these cars are losing value faster than a phone left in the rain. These are 10 hybrid SUVs in the UK right now that you should never buy. And wait until you get to number 1, because that car is carrying so many documented faults, failed recalls, and ownership horror stories that it is genuinely shocking it is still being sold at this price. Number 10. Renault Austral E-Tech Hybrid. The Renault Austral starts from around £34,695 in 2026. That is not cheap, and for that money, you are getting a car that Renault quietly had to redesign after less than 3 years on sale because people were not happy with it. The gearbox is the core problem. It uses a clutchless system that nobody else really builds this way, and it creates a noticeable pause mid-acceleration, particularly when overtaking at speed. You ask for power, and for a second or two, the car thinks about it. That is not what you want when you are pulling out onto a fast road. The official fuel economy figure is around 60 miles per gallon. Real-world testing over long distances came back closer to 47. That is a big gap. To fix ride quality complaints, Renault also swapped out the more sophisticated rear suspension on UK cars for a simpler setup, which introduces more road noise than the version that got praised in reviews. As a brand, Renault sits 24th out of 33 in the Honest John reliability standings. There are better options at this price, and the used values on early Australs reflect that. Number 9. Pujo 3008 PHEV. The Pujo 3008 PHEV starts at £40,750 in 2026. That is just enough to tip it over the £40,000 threshold, which means you pay an extra £410 a year in road tax on top of the standard rate for 5 years. So before you have even driven it, the government has already taken an extra £2,050 from you just because of the price tag. The older generation 3008 had a well-documented engine timing belt problem that destroyed engines when owners did not maintain their oil properly. Pujo changed the engine design for this new model, but the platform is so new that nobody actually has long-term reliability data on it yet. Parker's confirmed in their 2026 ownership review that the car is simply too new to draw any conclusions. The PHEV battery also cuts boot space down noticeably compared to the standard version. And the charger that comes fitted as standard is slow, taking close to 4 hours for a full charge. You are paying luxury money for a car with an unknown reliability track record, a smaller boot than the version without the plug, and a charging experience that will test your patience every morning. Number 8. Ford Cougar PHEV. The Ford Cougar plug-in hybrid starts from around £41,000 in 2026. Ford finished 23rd out of 31 brands in the 2025 Driver Power Owner Satisfaction survey. That is a poor result for a car at this price. In early 2025, Ford sent Cougar PHEV owners a recall letter with a red border around the entire page. Owners on forums reported they had never seen anything like it. The letter told them not to charge their car at all. The concern was that the battery could short-circuit internally and catch fire. If it happened while moving, the drivetrain would cut out completely. The solution was still being developed well into 2026. So thousands of owners were sitting in a £41,000 plug-in hybrid that they could not legally or safely plug in. And this was not even the first time. Ford recalled every Cougar plug-in hybrid back in 2020 after 4 cars caught fire and replaced every single battery pack. Autocar's 2026 review also called the PHEV powertrain noisy and uncompetitive for range compared to rivals. A car with 2 separate battery fire recalls in 5 years, a below-average brand satisfaction score, and a ride that has been called crashy on UK roads is not where your £41,000 should go. Number 7. Land Rover Discovery Sport P270e. The Discovery Sport plug-in hybrid starts from around £54,000 in 2026. The platform underneath it has been in production since 2015. That is over 10 years on the same basic architecture, which is a very long time in the modern car market. Land Rover as a brand consistently sits near the bottom of reliability surveys. Early Discovery Sport diesel models were recalled because a fault in the emissions system was contaminating the engine oil and causing engine damage. The current PHEV version loses the 7-seat option entirely because the battery takes up the space where the third row would go, and the real-world electric range comes out at roughly 30 miles, while the Mercedes GLC at a similar price was delivering close to 57 real electric miles on the same roads on the same day in what car testing. You are paying £54,000 for a car on an old platform, from a brand with a well-documented reliability problem that cannot match what its rivals deliver on the one thing that justifies buying the PHEV in the first place. Number 6. Volkswagen Tegan e-Hybrid. The Tegan e-hybrid starts from £42,665 and climbs to nearly £50,000 for the more powerful version. It is one of the biggest selling family SUVs in the UK, which is exactly why people trust it without questioning it enough. Autocar spent a week with the Tegan e-hybrid in 2026 and came back with a list of software problems that appeared during normal everyday use. The reversing camera regularly refused to show an image when reverse was selected. The heated steering wheel got stuck on and could not be switched off for an entire commute through either the button or the touchscreen. These were not things dug up from forums. They happened to a professional reviewer during a structured road test. VW also ranked 15th out of 33 in the Honest John Reliability Index, which is barely average. The hybrid battery cuts the boot from 652 litres down to 490 litres, losing more space than most competitors do. And the regenerative brakes are described across multiple reviews as grabby and difficult to use smoothly in slow traffic. For close to £50,000, a car that does not even drive smoothly. Number 5. Hyundai Tucson PHEV. The Tucson PHEV starts from close to £40,000 in 2026. It has been the same generation for 6 years now, and in that time it has accumulated a recall record that should make you stop and think. In January 2026, Hyundai issued a recall because the instrument panel on 2025 and 2026. Tucson PHEVs can reboot and go completely blank while you are driving. No speedometer, no warning lights, just a dark screen. Owner letters were sent out in March 2026. Just a few months before that, in October 2025, Hyundai also recalled the same model years because the connecting rod bolts in the engine were not tightened properly. That can cause engine damage and oil leaks. Dealers are replacing full engines under that recall. 2 major recalls in under 6 months on a car in its 6th year of production, costing £40,000. One of them involves your dashboard going dark on the road. The other involves replacing the engine. That is not a reasonable ownership experience at this price. Number 4. Kia Sportage PHEV. The Kia Sportage plug-in hybrid was quietly discontinued in the UK during 2025. The replacement facelifted version had not arrived by the time this was written in 2026. So any Sportage PHEV you see on a forecourt right now is effectively the end of the line, and used buyers are already pricing that in. Kia issued 2 separate recalls for the Sportage PHEV just weeks apart in early 2026. Both covered the same basic problem. A software error causes the instrument panel to fail while driving, taking the speedometer and all warning lights with it. One recall covered 2023 to 2025 models, issued in February this year. The other recall covered 2026 models, issued in January of this year. Same fault, 2 consecutive model years, issued within weeks of each other. The Sportage also finished 45th out of 50 cars in the most recent Driver Power Owner Satisfaction Survey. On top of that, owners who mainly drive on electric power are reporting oil dilution, where fuel gets into the engine oil because the petrol engine never fully warms up. A discontinued car with back-to-back recalls for the same fault, an oil contamination problem, and a near-bottom satisfaction score is not a car you should be buying. Number 3. Volvo XC60 Recharge T8 PHEV. The Volvo XC60 Recharge T8 starts from around £64,000 in 2026. That is proper luxury money, and people buying at this price expect a different level of ownership experience. They are not getting it. Consumer Reports' 2026 annual survey named the XC60 PHEV as one of the worst performing plug-in hybrids currently on sale. The reported problems cover the electrical system, the climate control, the drivetrain, the electric motor, and the battery. One owner told Consumer Reports their car went into limp mode after just 1 month and refused to go above 26 miles per hour. There is also a connectivity module fault that has affected multiple earlier model year cars, and no confirmed fix has been issued for all affected vehicles. The real-world electric range also comes in below what rivals deliver at this price. When What Car ran a direct comparison test, the BMW X5 was managing 50 real electric miles, and the Range Rover Sport was hitting 60 before its engine started, while the XC60 fell short of both. At £64,000, you should not be entering limp mode after a month. You should not be losing a range comparison to your main rivals. And your connectivity module should not have a known fault with no confirmed resolution. Number 2. BMW X5 X Drive 50e. The BMW X5 X Drive 50e starts from around £82,000 in M Sport trim in 2026. BMW has confirmed this is the final production year for the current generation. A replacement is coming, and the used market is already repricing these cars downward because of it. The hybrid module failures on this car are happening embarrassingly early. UK owners on the Bimmerfest forum have documented high voltage system warnings and complete hybrid module failures within the first few hundred miles of owning the car. One owner confirmed their 2025 X5 went back to the dealer after just 350 miles and sat there for 4 weeks waiting for a new hybrid module. Consumer Reports 2025 data also lists battery pack failures and charging faults among the most common early complaints. On top of the reliability issues, the PHEV specification removes the 7-seat option and cuts the boot by 150 litres. So you are paying £82,000 for a car in its final year of production, which loses you seats and boot space and has documented hybrid module failures happening before some people have even driven it to a service station for the first time. Number 1, Mazda CX-60 PHEV. The Mazda CX-60 plug-in hybrid starts from around £47,000 in 2026. Mazda has a strong reliability reputation and people buy this car expecting that reputation to carry over. It does not. Not even close. From the day early cars arrived with owners, the problems started stacking up. The instrument cluster was going completely black while driving. The fuel gauge was giving incorrect readings. The 12-volt battery was draining repeatedly. Mazda issued a formal recall covering instrument cluster blackouts, then issued a separate recall to reroute the fuel lines because the fuel gauge was showing the wrong level. That is not a software update. That is physically removing the fuel pump and rerouting cables inside the fuel tank. Owners on UK forums describe returning to the dealer repeatedly and still not having the issues resolved. One owner documented their car stopping completely mid-journey with a hybrid system malfunction warning, the gearbox locking in, park and requiring a specialist recovery vehicle because a standard tow was not possible. Consumer Reports 2026 survey rated the CX-60 plug-in hybrid as one of the least reliable vehicles in its class. Autocar ran a long-term test and came back reporting a clunky gearbox, worse real-world efficiency than the figures suggest, and poor ride and refinement that the launch event had hidden. What car confirmed in 2026 that speed bumps generate large thumps, the body wallows, and the PHEV's electric motors whir and whine loudly enough that owners mistake it for the engine running? The suspension creaks and groans when switching between petrol and electric. And all of this is on a car that costs £47,000, starts from a brand people trust, and is sold as a premium alternative to the BMW X3 and Audi Q5. It is not. It is an expensive lesson in buying a first-generation platform before the problems have been sorted out.